morning, everyone. Welcome to Cottonwood Mountains Death Valley Adventure 3. This is my third Death Valley backpacking adventure to be captured on film. I'm here at the Stovepipe Wells Ranger Station. I just stopped here before driving out Cottonwood Canyon Road to pay my entrance fee. Now I'm going to head out the road. So our hike in the Cottonwood Mountains has begun, and we've started out by heading west toward the small rock hillside in the wash, seen kind of there in the center. That's our first objective, to get around that to the right. Well, our hike again has been started here in the Cottonwood Mountains. Now, where exactly are we? Well, just over in that direction is the famous Cottonwood Marble Loop. But that's not what we're doing. We're actually hiking to a place called Upper Bighorn Canyon today. And as you can see, doing a water carry here with my friend Josh, and we each are carrying 4 gallons of water to start out. So it'll be a challenging first day. So we're rounding a bend, looking back down. That's the Cottonwood Canyon First Narrows. We're gonna continue heading up what I call 5 Mile Rock Canyon. And there on the left right there, that is the initial little rock outcropping we were targeting. So at 0.9 miles, we've reached a junction. If all goes as planned, 2 days from now we'll be coming out of this small canyon right here. But our route today continues up the main canyon in this direction. Passing by some pretty cliffs here on the right side. So we are about 1 hour into our backpacking trip here in the Cottonwood Mountains. Hiking, as mentioned earlier, up 5 Mile Rock Canyon, an informal name that I assigned this canyon back when I first hiked it on March 4th, 2011. Great view looking back down the canyon at Cottonwood Benchmark Peak. It's the high point there in the middle. And looking up ahead where the direction we're heading, that large peak there in the middle, we're going to pass by that to the left. nice looking cliffs above the canyon at this spot. So we are now 3.4 miles into our hike, backpacking up 5 Mile Rock Canyon. We've reached the marker spot that I've labeled as the Oxbow in the canyon. So just behind me, we're going to continue backpacking after a short break and do a couple very wide bends in the canyon. So we're heading into the first Oxbow or curve in the canyon. The canyon has started narrowing up quite a bit. We can't see much of the surrounding terrain anymore. So this big rock outcropping in the middle of the wash, this is what I call 5 Mile Rock. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. So behind me is what I named 5 Mile Rock. I came up with that 11.5 years ago when I first hiked this canyon. And the reason for the name, this spot marks just about 5 miles up the canyon from the start, where we parked there on Cottonwood Canyon Road. 4.7 miles to be exact, but I felt it was a perfect marker that lets you know you've gone almost 5 miles. So we just had a lunch break there at 5 Mile Rock, had some food and rested up a bit, and now we're going to hike. The next section is 0.6 miles to reach the narrows of 5 Mile Rock Canyon. So we're just about heading into the narrows of this canyon. I'm going to turn a corner and check out what's there. In the narrows here, some beautiful colored walls, very high. So we've reached a junction here in the main canyon at 5.5 miles. We're going to take the right fork and head up to a plateau, a little pass area that we're going to cross over. Heading up this side drainage, we have run into kind of major dryfall here. So we're just going to backtrack and see if there's a way to get around it by bypassing it. Climbing it with these heavy packs would not be easy. We actually went around the top of that bush there instead of under it. Too sketchy going underneath it. So as you can see, behind me, we've run into a major dry fall here in this side drainage. Hopefully this will be the last one, as it's kind of the third one we've had to go up. But as you can see, Josh there at the top, he already found a bypass, so we're going to go ahead and take our packs and get around this dry fall. And Josh found us a route around that hillside there. Quite steep and challenging with all this weight. And here's the major dry fall we bypassed. So past that major dry fall, the wash opened up, it bent to the right. And this is what we're walking up right now, heading toward the pass or divide. Well, as we get to the upper portions of this fork of the canyon, very shallow, not so steep, very easy walking. Getting closer and closer to the divide. Here we go. Finally reaching the divide between Cottonwood Canyon's watershed and Big Fall Canyon's watershed. This is what it looks like down the other side. So just taking a break here for a moment. We've hiked 6.4 miles. It actually took us 6.5 hours. So that's due to, of course, the heavy water weight. We each have 4 gallons that we started out with, plus our regular pack weight. Plus it was all uphill to this point, not to mention those 3 increasingly difficult dry falls we went over. Now we're gonna head down this way. Camp is 1.2 miles below where we're gonna set up camp and drop off our stuff. We've got some nice terrain on the hillside on the right, but look at that view ahead. A massive block of rock above Upper Big Fall Canyon. We're gonna be camping just below that. Now we've come down from the hillside, we're in the main wash. We'll be to our camp setup spot about 0.4 miles. All right, so we finally made it to our camping spot here at the head of Big Fall Canyon. Now it's 3 o'clock, it's only an hour and a half till sunset. So I'm gonna go down Upper Big Fall Canyon and check out the Narrows. Oh, Josh is setting up camp for us right there. I'm gonna do a solo walk down Upper Big Fall Canyon. Big Fall Canyon has beautiful rock walls. First thing I can tell you about it. As well as towering cliffs above the canyon. So my first hike into Upper Big Fall Canyon, as I mentioned earlier, was March 4th, 2011. And I was awed by the incredible beauty in here. The Narrows, the towering cliffs above the canyon. There's actually 2 sections of beautiful Narrows that I'll get to see coming up here before ending on the rim of 125-foot Big Fall. And now, this is going to be the first video footage ever seen of Big Fall Canyon. Can't wait to share this incredible place with you. Look at this beautiful rock. Right here leading up to a nice dry fall. Very pretty. There's going to be a lot of beautiful spots to share as I hike through here, even before I get into the first Narrows. Wow, look at this canyon ahead. Absolutely towering walls rising vertically above the canyon. I've only been in here one time in my life. So this is really special, being able to come back one more time and see it again. Amazing variety of colors on the walls. When I first hiked Upper Big Fall Canyon, I actually did it as a day hike. and that was 20 miles round trip from the parking spot. So as you can see, it's not easy. And very few people have ever been in this canyon, only a handful that I know of. It's an incredible hike though. Beautiful lighting, of course, this time in the late afternoon here in December on this short day. Look how that hillside's all lit up. And this canyon makes it easy for you to feel small being in here. You can see this canyon's already very narrow. In fact, these would be considered narrows right here. But I've labeled the first and second narrows as what are truly slot narrows. Love this rock. Look at this impressive part of the canyon. Another majestic looking peak above Upper Big Fall Canyon. Some neat twists here in the canyon. Very cool rock. And I believe I'm about to walk into the first section of slot narrows. We'll see around this next bend. Oh wow. Yes indeed, slot narrows. Talk about some incredible scenery. Check out this bend in the canyon. I am absolutely stunned at the beauty of these narrows. Some of the best in Death Valley National Park. Been here before, but it's been a long time and I'm impressed. Out of the first narrows, Wow. I don't know what to say. I was kind of speechless walking through these first narrows of Upper Big Fall Canyon. I had truly forgotten how incredible and beautiful this area was. I'm so happy that I made the decision to come back and share it with all of you. You can see it as well. Check out the orange and red colored cliffs all around. What a spot in the canyon. Well, I'm continuing to head down Big Fall Canyon. Looking forward to the second narrows ahead after seeing those first narrows. Continuing to head down the canyon. Sunset's in about 30 minutes, which has me a bit nervous. Canyon has once again narrowed down considerably, but the walls kind of slope up at an angle. Another impressive bend in the canyon. Heading into some more narrows, as you can see here. Just walked around this corner to the rim of Big Fall. This right here is Big Fall, 125 feet down. What a spot in the canyon. And this is the alternate vantage point. You can look and see Big Fall right there. That's where it flows over the edge and drops down into the canyon below, 125 feet down. Again, I'm sticking my pole out over the canyon rim. I'm not standing too close to the edge. So I'm standing here on the rim at the top of Big Fall here in Upper Big Fall Canyon. This is where this hike comes to an end. I kind of had to rush through those second narrows because it was getting dark, but I showed them the best I could. And I got here with enough time with some light to see Big Fall. But now I'm gonna have to hustle back up the canyon to camp so I don't get there too much after dark. And one last look down canyon from Big Fall as I've reached sunset. And as you can see, it's getting dark in the canyon. I barely got here with enough light. So beautiful. Well, made it back to camp as you can see, and thankfully Josh set up my tent, so I'm just blowing up my air mattress and then me and him are going to cook some dinner. All right, well, we're both cooking dinner now in our tents because it's gotten a bit cold outside. So I'm going to do mashed potatoes and gravy with beef. Well, after sitting for 20 minutes, dinner's finally ready. Give these mashed potatoes a try. Another meal I've never had before out here or anywhere. Not bad. Nice and warm. Well, that's about it for day one here in the Cottonwood Mountains. We had a really nice day. Hard and challenging, but saw so much beautiful scenery today. 5 Mile Rock Canyon, kind of a means to an end to get to where we are here, but it was also scenically beautiful. Had some nice spots and a couple fun climbs along the way. And then of course, doing that side trip down Upper Big Fall Canyon, definitely one of my lifetime favorite places here in Death Valley National Park. As you saw, the narrows there, both sets of narrows, and then Big Fall. It's such a beautiful, incredible place. Definitely rivals nearby Marble Canyon. We're gonna get some sleep now and talk to everybody in the morning. Good night. Morning everyone, welcome to day 2 here in the Cottonwood Mountains. We've woken up, it's breakfast time. So I'm gonna have a bite here of my breakfast skillet, mixed in with some Tabasco. Today we have some more great scenery on tap. So we're gonna begin by backpacking to the north, kind of skirting the edge of the Dry Bone Canyon fan. Once we climb up and over a pass, and we'll be working our way not too far from Leaning BM or Benchmark Peak before wrapping back around to the south. So really looking forward to today. This is some new scenery I've never seen before, so I'm excited to see what this area of the park looks like. Okay, we're heading out of camp and leaving Upper Big Fall Canyon behind. We're going to turn off in a moment here into a side canyon heading to the north and have to climb just about a mile to a pass, gaining about 450 feet in elevation. So starting with a little bit of a tough climb this morning. So this right here is the small canyon heading to the north that we turned into. Nice wash to start out. Well, we're heading up this canyon. It's pretty steep, so we're just resting on a rock, but this is the first time we felt the sun this morning. Feels good. It was a cold night. Made it a little challenging to sleep, but should be a pretty warm day today. Continuing to climb this small side canyon. Cactus there on the left, and looks like we have to go up a little boulder field here. We're continuing up the side canyon, and this is the scenery looking to the right. Pretty neat looking peak up there. So just up ahead in the side canyon, we ran into the second dryfall. We bypassed the first one. This bypass is going to be a little bit harder. See Josh heading up the slope there in a little gully. So we're going to try to get up and around this dryfall. So at the top of the bypass, this is looking back down the small side canyon and continuing around here. And this is where the bypass rejoins the wash. And the low spot you see there is the pass. So we're very close. So something interesting here at the top of this canyon, a layer of tuffoni in the hillside. We're just now coming up on the pass. Right here, our first view of the other side. So this is the divide between the Dry Bone Canyon watershed on this side, and on this side the Big Fall Canyon watershed. So that 1 mile climb up here to the pass or divide between these two areas took about 1 hour and 15 minutes. And we're gonna enjoy some downhill hiking now. Up until now we've been doing mostly uphill for over a day. So we found our first balloon here. What do we got here? Looks like we got the Little Mermaid. Well, we're gonna crumble this up and let me give that to Josh. Stick it in the pack for later. So from the pass, we're heading about 1.6 miles down this small canyon or drainage until we merge with a larger one. So we've gotten into a wash here with kind of some orange colored rock on the sides. So far really good terrain heading down this way. So literally about 5 minutes later we have balloon number 2. Makes me wonder how many we're gonna find here, being that we're doing a route that hardly anybody, if anybody, has ever taken. just coming out and joining the larger wash here in just a few moments. So right here we've merged with some larger washes. You can see the Grapevine Mountains in the distance. Looking around here, this is looking up high into the Cottonwood Mountains. Look at all these hillsides and peaks up above. Incredible spot seen by very few people. So we've begun a downhill portion here for the next 4.3 miles down this wide wash. Then eventually we're gonna merge with the dry bone wash, but we're gonna take a right and head down and around to another area. So we've been heading down a fairly wide wash, heading kind of straight toward the grapevine, so we constantly have that view there in the distance. Quite beautiful. So we continue down this canyon. Looks like it constricts up ahead. Might be some nice scenery. Some nice polished rock here on the right side of the canyon. Continuing for quite a ways. This canyon has suddenly gotten quite interesting. Check out this rock going up the right side. Very pretty rock. Here's some of the cliffs above the left side of the canyon as we continue down this wash here. Okay, so we've come out of that canyon, and looking across here you can see the wide Dry Bone Canyon fan, and then straight ahead we're heading directly towards the base of Leaning Benchmark Peak. We've been dealing with some hard terrain for the last 30 minutes, trying to work our way over to the base of Leaning Benchmark Peak, which we will not be summiting today. That was not planned for this trip. I did summit it in the past. So we're going to be cutting to the right here in just a few minutes below the area that leads to Leaning Benchmark Peak. Just want to take one last look up here at the Dry Bone fan, heading up into the mountains. Dry Bone Canyon, of course, an incredible spot here in the Cottonwood Mountains. So we came up on a major obstacle here, turned a little bit too early, and we're high above this canyon, and we want to be down in that bottom wash. So we're going to try to see how we can get down there. Well, we did a major bypass coming down the mountain from that overlook spot that I showed you. It was one of the most challenging things I've done probably in the park, but the hike wasn't planned that way. It's just that I missed a turn that was marked on my GPS, and so we ended up on the edge of those cliffs. But we got down here, and now we're in this canyon, another canyon I'm in for the first time here in Death Valley. So we're heading down toward the mouth of this canyon. Wash is very nice here. Not seeing any sheep tracks yet. There's some neat rock in here. So we just ran into a dry fall, of course, in this side canyon. We climbed down it with our packs. And here we are continuing in these narrows, hoping that we're done with dry falls for the day. Well, after a series of minor challenges there, we're back in a nice wash. So it looks like we'll catch a break here for a while. So we're merging with another canyon that comes down from Leaning right here. That's the canyon we came down, and they combine and continue down canyon. So just checking out a little side slot here off of the main canyon. Conglomerate rock. Some narrows here. Need a little pinnacle up there. So about a mile away from the next marker spot, but just love these high cliffs above the canyon. I have to say it's been quite a challenging day today. We've had to overcome several hard obstacles, but the neat thing with all my time I've spent in Death Valley in my lifetime, everything I've seen so far today I've never seen before. Never hiked any of these canyons or areas. So that will change up ahead. In 1 mile we're going to be arriving at the mouth of Slab Canyon, and so everything past there I have hiked before. But the objective today, we started, as you know, at Upper Big Fall Canyon, and we looped around to the north because we're trying to get to Lower Big Fall Canyon. So a complete circle to get from the top of the canyon to the bottom. So look how wide this canyon is we came down. It got quite wide as we got near the mouth, but there's perhaps the tightest constriction in the canyon right here. Walls come really close together with some nice rock. Cool spot in the canyon. Look who we've got here, our special guest, Matt.
How's it going? Good to see you. Glad you made it.
We survived that canyon.
Yeah, was it pretty rough?
There were some real tough spots, yeah. So Matt, what route did you take to get to this spot?
Yeah, started at the Cottonwood Marble Road and walked along the base of the mountains, and then came through a really beautiful set of narrows. There was a really nice dry fall up there. You feel like you're in the middle of the Cottonwoods, one of the most remote areas of the park. This is one of my least visited mountain ranges because it's so hard to get to some of these canyons. So I'm excited to be a part of this adventure, this journey.
So we're here at the mouth of what I call Slab Canyon, and I first visited this canyon February 8th of 2013. So this is my first time back since. And we're gonna go in here and check it out. There's some neat things to see in here, some nice narrows and scenery and rock slabs. Some real pretty narrows here in Slab Canyon. So right here, this is the end of the passable canyon as far as I'm concerned for Slab Canyon. Right here where this giant rock slab has gotten wedged into the canyon. And this is the view looking back down. Even just getting to this spot was quite challenging. A lot of bouldering and climbing. So it's past sunset. We just came out of Slab Canyon, our exploration, and taking a look at that area. It was very challenging, a lot of boulder climbing, some dry falls. We made it as far as we reasonably could. Now we're back, we got our backpacks. We're gonna hike up about 2 miles to the junction of Hidden Bridge and Big Fall, where the washes merge, and set up camp for the night. I won't be able to show much because it has gotten dark. So we've arrived here finally at our camp for the night. We backpacked the last hour or so in pitch black conditions, but we had moonlight, which helped. So now we're just all setting up our tents. We're gonna camp here, kind of at the mouth of Hidden Bridge Canyon. Well, I set up my tent. Everybody has their tents up, and I'm the last one to start cooking. For me tonight, it's going to be green curry. Another meal I've never tried before. So let's get some water cooking and see how it tastes. Okay, dinner served. Pretty good. I love the noodles in there. So that wraps up day 2 here in the Cottonwood Mountains. Incredibly challenging backpacking day, but saw a lot of new things here in Death Valley I've never seen before. But tomorrow morning is really the big moment of this trip. Get to see some of my favorite places in Death Valley National Park. Lower Big Fall Canyon, Lower Hidden Bridge Canyon with Hidden Bridge, and Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon. Really excited. Can't wait to wake up and check them out again. Good night, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3 here in the Cottonwood Mountains, the final day of our backpacking adventure. This morning we're starting out with what I'll call the big 3. 3 amazing places here in the Cottonwood Mountains. So for starters, we're gonna go to Lower Hidden Bridge, and we'll follow that up with Lower Big Fall, and finally Middle Hidden Bridge. So excited to be back at each of these places. They are quite incredible, as you'll see here in just a short few minutes. So we're heading up the wash here into Lower Hidden Bridge. Up there you can see how there's an opening in the rock into Hidden Bridge Canyon. It is such an impressive slot opening. And look at this incredibly tall conglomerate rock wall here near the mouth of Hidden Bridge Canyon. And here is the entrance to the canyon. Welcome to Hidden Bridge Canyon. So here we go, one of the moments I've been waiting for this entire trip, walking into Hidden Bridge Canyon. So this is Hidden Bridge, one of the 17 known major natural bridges in Death Valley National Park that is accessible to hikers. Of course, it's extremely challenging to reach this spot. Requires a very long day hike or backpacking trip. My first visit here to Hidden Bridge was on March 16th, 2009, and I've been back a couple times since. So I hope you enjoyed checking this out, and now we're going to continue on to Lower Big Fall Canyon. So we're coming down and out the Hidden Bridge drainage. You can see right here where it merges with the drainage from Big Fall. So now we're going to turn left here and head up in this direction. It's about 1 mile from here to the dryfall that ends progress in Lower Big Fall Canyon. We're about halfway to the canyon mouth. Some pretty patterns here on the wall. So behind me, I'm about to walk into the narrows of Lower Big Fall Canyon. So this is a really impressive section of canyon. It's shorter than the narrows of the Upper Canyon, but as you're going to see, there's some incredible beauty in these narrows. Let's head in there. waterfall right here behind me. This marks the end of the passable canyon here for Lower Big Fall Canyon. So now on this backpacking trip, we've seen both the Upper Canyon and Lower Canyon in full. To see what's in between is only accessible to canyoneers. Truly a beautiful, short set of narrows here in Lower Big Fall Canyon, some spectacular scenery. Now we're going to turn around and head back to camp. Okay, we're departing from our camp for night 2. Now that we've completed Lower Hidden Bridge and Lower Big Fall, we're going to backpack for a bit and then drop our packs and see the final spot. Coming up on the saddle with where we're going to drop our backpacks and check out the other side. This is a very neat spot. Okay, we've dropped our packs here at this saddle and it's time for the final side hike of this backpacking adventure. So we're going to go work our way into Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon. Now I did hike it once before on March 9th, 2012. So over 10 years ago. This is my first time back. It's a very special place. As with all these places, among my favorites in the park. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get in there. But once we do, the payoff is huge. So to start with, we're standing high above the wash of the Lower Canyon. Check out this epic view. So we're going to be climbing kind of straight up this rocky hillside to the low saddle, and then we'll be able to get down the other side. Here's the view looking from the saddle. Another incredible view looking down. And here's the view on the other side. This is our first look into Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon. We gotta work our way down this hillside. And this is the view looking up the Middle Canyon. We're just about down to the wash. A little bit more to scramble right here. All right, this is really exciting here in the wash of Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon. We're gonna first head into the upper section of the canyon. There's gonna be some beautiful narrows, different rock types. And I should mention though that this route is not for the general public or regular hikers. This is an advanced hiking route. So we're passing by a canyon wall, colorful stripes. Look at this. What a variety of colors right here. We've reached the dryfall here at the end of Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon, the upper portion. So some incredible narrows leading up to this spot. We're going to turn around and head back down canyon. There's a little bit more to see. So we're about to go into the final section of narrows here in Middle Hidden Bridge. We're going to head down these shallow but beautiful rock narrows. So we're gonna stop right here at this chalkstone or boulder jam. Tricky area to get down right here. I've got down that before, but decided to go ahead and stop there for today. The dryfall is just around the corner right there. So yeah, this is a good turnaround point. So that's the end of our tour of Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon, and we're gonna work our way back to where our backpacks are, and then it'll be time to do our final afternoon's backpack back to the vehicle. Okay, Matt, what did you think of Middle Hidden Bridge Canyon?
I thought it was the highlight of the trip so far. It was unexpected variety, just beautiful narrows, all these different types of rocks and colors. It was really a great way to kind of end this trip and the backpacking trip. Really, really enjoyed it. Really loved it.
So we are backpacking once again. Got about 7.5 miles to get to the vehicle. So we've come up on the edge of this major dryfall. We've got to get down into that canyon below here off of this plateau. So we're going to head around to the left. So we got down from that dryfall, did a long bypass, and now we're back in the wash below the dryfall. Passing through some short narrows here in this canyon. Okay, so here is the canyon we just came out of, and we've reached the junction. So turning this way, which is to our left, is what I call route number 2, and that leads to the mouth of Cottonwood Canyon. Turning right leads back to where we're parked at the end of Cottonwood Canyon's first narrows. Okay, we've got our third balloon to pack out. Let's see what this one is. Oh, just a red one. Coming into an area here, a lot of rockfall has fallen into this canyon. Looking back at the rockfall section, the sheep had a trail that went straight through it. They found a perfect route for us. All right, we just finished this 1 mile from the last junction to this junction. We came up this canyon, and now we got to head up this canyon to reach the plateau, which is our next objective. However, there's a major dry fall back there, which we're going to need to bypass. So we're heading a little bit further up this canyon. This eventually leads to Upper Hidden Bridge, but we're looking for a bypass to the left. We just had to do a major scramble to get up past this dry fall. We've only done half the bypass, but you can see I'm looking up this canyon that heads to Upper Hidden Bridge. But as far as this route, I do not recommend this. It was very hard. So we made it back into the canyon. Another extremely hard bypass. Something that was probably easy for me the first time I did it when I was younger, but very challenging. Probably wouldn't do that route again. We climbed out of the canyon on the left side, but check out these white cliffs. And it leads into that conglomerate slot up there. So looking down into the slot from above on the ridge, look at this major dry fall right here. That's what we're bypassing. Walking back down the wash to look at this major dry fall here. Here we are. Also, there's this neat arch, the dry fall. Here is balloon number 4. That's got to be taken out. Okay, we just reached the high point here. We crossed that plateau down below, crossing over a saddle. And it's all downhill from here to the truck. And we are coming out of this canyon back here at the junction with 5 Mile Rock Canyon. We started our trip, we headed up that way. And now here at sunset, you can see the beautiful clouds in the sky over the Cottonwood Mountains. We got 0.9 miles to get back to our vehicle. Well, now that we're at the junction and just 0.9 miles to the vehicle, this is the end of the adventure. So thank you so much for joining me for Cottonwood Mountains Death Valley Adventure 3, showcasing some incredible scenery that very few people in the world have ever seen. In fact, almost everything shown on this video has never before been captured on film. A word of caution, I'll leave you with that. This route has some incredibly difficult challenges that most people cannot handle, so I don't encourage anyone to go on this route, but just enjoy the film and the scenery as shared with you. All right, talk to you later, everyone.